on the one side, there's these perfect idols that you want to be, follow your heroes and be like them. But you've also got to try to understand the other side of things so that you can try to find the mean in terms of what's going to be the best way to live your life. And I think that Always Sunny presents that other side. So you're not just reading about somebody being perfect and how you should follow in their footsteps, but you also need to analyze, well, what's the opposite? What's the worst way that you could possibly be?
Yeah.
So that you can not only, I have to be this way, but I also want to make sure I'm not that way.
Understood. So
they bring this balance to it that I think is critical for anybody trying to figure out what is the right thing to do with my life.
And so you mentioned the book's really a collection of essays on each of the characters. What character did you actually do the analysis on?
Sure. So I did, in addition to editing everybody's papers and everything, I did write one that's in there. I talked about the dentist system and treated that as the right way to actually do philosophy. So, so we dentist systemed philosophy problems, if you will, which actually harkens back to a very old book by this guy called Boethius, and it's called The Consolation of Philosophy. And he's sitting in a prison cell, and he's sitting there like, oh, what the fuck? And philosophy, which he anthropomorphizes into this woman, philosophy comes down and talks to him. And so I was, what if we dentist system philosophy? If you don't know the dentist system, it's a method for having sex with women. And so what if Boethius, a dentist philosophy, instead of doing what he did in the context of that book. And so I thought about, the dentist system is you first demonstrate value, and then you need to engage physically, and then you need to nurture the dependence that comes with after engaging them physically, and then you need to neglect them emotionally. Then you need to inspire a little bit of hope so you can get laid again, and then you just separate entirely. I thought this was a pretty good way to actually do philosophy problems, or even write philosophy papers. The first part of philosophy, you got to demonstrate that there's a value to exploring what you're about to explore. Why explore it if it's not going to be valuable?
Sure.
And then you need to, engage it physically. And this is a part of philosophy I think a lot of people don't really see. Oh, yeah, you're sitting there figuring things out. But no, you're grinding away reading stuff. Like, it takes a toll on your body to engage philosophy problems physically. Sitting down forever, it hurts. So you got to get up and walk around sometimes. And when you're in the kind of throes of that craziness, you get into this situation where you almost feel hopeless, and like there's nothing you can do. Almost like the women that Dennis was, the dependence that he ends up nurturing with them, so he can hold them in tighter to them. So when you're addressing the philosophy of your problem, you almost want to like kind of just like try to not enjoy, but use that situation as much as you can to continue working through the problem. And then at some point, it's always good to just kind of step back away and neglect it emotionally for a little bit, almost in terms of thinking rationally, but also just avoiding it whatsoever. And then at some point you come back in and you're like, I kind of rested for a little bit. Now you've got this hope, this power that you can come back in and work on it, grind out, get through your conclusion, finish your paper, and then separate entirely. Just forget the philosophy problem and move on to the next one. I don't think that's a bad way to do it, at least for your student.
You know what? It sounds super exciting and interesting. I'll tell you, I know for a fact that there will be at least 10 to 15 people that watch this podcast.
Yeah.
I'd like to encourage each and every one of them to go out and to pick up a copy of It's Always Sunny in Philosophy. The Gang Gets Analyzed. I think what you've talked about here with the dentist system, anybody who's watched It's Always Sunny is at least a little bit familiar with the dentist system as it pertains to the show. And using that as a way to really look at the entire world, I think is groundbreaking. A lot of possibility there.